My name is Matthew, and I'm with the Tampa-Hillsborough County Public Library. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Next Steps as part of the annual Tampa-Hillsborough County Storytelling Festival for 2022. We're so excited. We're here tonight with the storytelling group, the leaders who are going to be able to help you get through this process and submit stories of your very own. Katie Adams and Lorian Mediaci, welcome. So first up, I wanted to remind everybody it's ages 6 through 18, basically K through 12. You are all invited to participate in the Tampa-Hillsborough County Storytelling Festival for this year. This is an online festival. As you can see, we've had performances by professional storytellers, and there'll be more of that to come. There are techniques and other information you can get. Especially if you go to our YouTube channel, which I mentioned before, you will see there a playlist called Story School, where there's a number of wonderful coachings and teachings all about storytelling. And of course, the chance to submit your very own storytelling festival video. That's what it's all about, what it's all leading up to, the chance for you and the youth in your life to be able to put that in and have it be, looked at and be considered for the festival. So to get all of that, links to the YouTube list, the playlist, book list, all kinds of great information, you can just go to the website, hcplc.org/storytellingfestival. And if you go there, you'll see everything that you need to be able to go through the mechanics of this. And now, without further ado, I'm going to turn off my camera and give the floor over to Katie and Lorian, and I'll be back with everybody a little bit later.
Okay. Well, thank you, Matthew. And now we're bringing up a slide here because I want to talk to you all about the criteria for what makes a good story. Because I know you've been working on your story, maybe following along with the storytelling story school with all those different videos, and you can just follow along with them. And so you're getting your story worked up and you're getting ready to make a video. But before you do that, I just want to go over for you what is going to make a good story and how we're going to be evaluating your story. So it's pretty simple. You'll see there's a list there, the storytelling criteria. So I'm going to ask Matthew if you'll take down that slide for just a little bit so that I can look at you and talk to you more about it. The first thing that's important for your story is the choice of story. And we did spend some time on this in our last live session, but you want a folk tale, a fairy tale, a fable or myth. There's a really great curated list of books that you could choose from for your story on the Tampa-Hillsborough County Storytelling Festival landing page. If you kind of scroll down to the bottom, you'll see these books titles carouseling by. So you look for that if you haven't picked out your story, or you can talk to your librarian at the library. But you want to make sure that you have a good story, like I said, a folk tale or a fairy tale, something that's age appropriate for your storyteller, and something that's not too long. Because ultimately, when you're telling your story, it cannot be more than 10 minutes. It's got to be 10 minutes or less. So once you have that, we see that you have a good story. The next thing that we're looking for as evaluators for your storytelling is your story flowing smoothly along? Have you got it memorized so that you're saying it in your own words and you're comfortable and it's just flowing smoothly along? We don't have any pauses for you to think about, oh, what came next? Oh yeah. We don't want to see anything like that in your story. We want to just flow smoothly along. So the memory of the story is important. Also, the projection. You want to be sure that you're loud enough. And since you're doing this for video, you can, test out. Try a little piece of your story, videotape it, and then play it back and see, am I loud enough? So you've got to be nice and loud so that we can hear all your words. Don't drop off your words at the end of your sentence. Don't start loud and then get soft. You want to keep everything nice and loud and clear so we can hear you. Once you have good projection, we are also looking for good diction, which is how you pronounce each word. We want to be able to hear all the words clearly and make sure that you're pronouncing them correctly. Many people are big readers, so they read a lot more words than they ever say. So you need to learn how to make sure that you're saying the word correctly. Another little tip for good diction is to slow down just a little bit. We all get real excited when we start telling our story and we start going faster and faster, and pretty soon you can't tell what we're saying because everything's all just blurring together in a great big swipe. So you want to slow it down so that we can hear each word clearly. Once you have, projection and diction, then as evaluators, we're looking to see if you have lots of personality in your story. Now, this is partly your personality as an actor and a storyteller. It's also partly the personality of the story. For instance, if you're telling the story of the tortoise and the hare, well, you might speak a little more quickly and loudly for the rabbit and a little more slowly and plodding along to give the personality of the tortoise. So you want to, if it's a scary story, you might have a certain tone in your voice. They walked past the graveyard. They could hear the wind whistling. They could feel moss dangling past their face. So, depending on the kind of story, you want to, get across the personality of the story and kind of your own personality. For instance, if you are kind of sad and you don't want to be up there, that's going to come across. If you're happy and excited to be there, that's going to come across. So you're showing us partly your personality and partly the story. Here's 3 things that you can kind of play with for personality. One is character voices. So what kind of voice does the character you're portraying have? Is it an old woman or is it a young child? You want to show some character. The second thing is you can show some action in your story. Do some movement, usually choreographed movement, to add interest and excitement to the story. Excuse me. And then the third thing that you might want to add to your story for personality is sound effects, which you can make a lot of different ways. You can be clapping your hands or snapping your fingers or making different sounds with your mouth, like the wind, or something falling. So you can add those sound effects, and all of this helps to bring some personality to the story. One of the last things that we're looking at, and something that we see from the very beginning of your story, is poise. And poise is, again, how comfortable are you as a storyteller telling your story? Here's some clues that you might not be comfortable. You might be kind of playing with your clothes. You might be twisting something, or you might be adjusting your hair, or having to keep pulling your hair back out of your face, or, twisting your arms and hands as you're telling your story. All of those things will make you appear not very poised. So you want to be able to stand calmly and kind of stand still. Maybe hold your hands like this in a neutral position unless you're going to use them for a gesture. And look right at the camera and, be happy to tell your story. All of that helps to show your poise. And then the last thing, again, that we are looking for with these stories is that it is a story that's less than 10 minutes. So your story can be 1 minute, it can be 5, 6, 7, all the way up to about, just under 10 minutes. So make sure you've timed it. And if it's too long, you might need to take out a part of the story. That's all about part of the practicing that you'll want to do with your story. So once you have all these parts of your story and you're ready to tell, you're ready for the evaluation, then you're ready to make your video. So now let's just bring up that one slide again that shows the criteria. And then we're going to bring up Lorian, who's going to tell us, there's our slide. That's, again, the storytelling criteria that you want to have for a good story. And now I want to bring up Lorian, who's going to talk to us about how to make a great video of your story.
Wait, hold on, Katie. Hold on.
No.
Before you leave us, I have one quick question while the storytelling criteria is still there. Okay. So let's say that there are 4,000 students watching this video. And let's say that all 4,000 of them send in videos to be evaluated for the festival. And let's just go crazy, Katie. Let's say that all 4,000 have good stories that are under 10 minutes, and they have poise, and they remember their stories, and they bring personality to it. Is it a competition? Do we have to pick a certain number of the students?
It is not a competition. All 4,000 of those stories could qualify as festival quality stories. And then we would put their videos on the library YouTube channel. So it's not a competition. All we're asking you to do is to come up to a certain quality level. And those are those different criteria that I talked about. So if you come up to that criteria level, you are named Festival Quality Storyteller, and then we put your video on the YouTube channel, the library YouTube channel, which is kind of like a showcase.
One last question. This really is the last one, I promise. Katie, do you know the best way to get your story up to that level, festival quality? Can I say it?
I think I do, but I think that you're really the one to tell us that particular thing.
So to get your story,
why don't we bring one and you can tell us what you need to do to get your story ready for festival quality. Have you got your video? There you are. There she is. Here she goes.
All you have to do is practice.
Practice, practice. That's right. All right, I'm going to go and let you talk about video.
Okay, so now that you've done all of those wonderful things that Katie said, and you have practice, then you are ready to record. Now, in order to get your videos for us to be able to evaluate them, they have to be in what is called an MP4 format. So I think that we have a slide, yep, right there, MP4 format. And most recording devices, unless you're using a really super specialized thing, automatically record video in MP4 format. And chances are, if you're using a camera that is so special that it gives you options, you probably know enough to pick MP4 format. But just make sure that we get it in MP4 format. Next slide, please. Okay, so these are the things that we're going to think about while we are setting up to make this video that we're going to put in MP4 format. We are thinking about the location. So you saw that Katie has an actual background that she put up, and it's a big black curtain that she has hanging up. So you could do it against a curtain, but you want to make sure that light is not coming through that curtain. We'll talk in just a minute. But as far as the plainness of the background, a curtain is going to help you to get that plain background. It's really important that it's plain. You can see that I just have a regular wall behind me. And then Matthew from the library also has a wall behind him. So the important thing is the background is plain so that the focus is on the storyteller. You don't want people looking at your furniture or a chair or, you know, a sibling dancing. You want to make sure that it's just you and not like an amazing piece of art or something like that. You want to make sure the focus is on you. You also want to make sure that you're in focus on the camera. Eyeballs, human eyeballs, focus automatically on the thing that we want to pay attention to. Cameras, not so much. They're getting better as technology advances, but it's really important that you make sure that the focus on the camera is on the subject, which is the storyteller, and not on something else in the background so that the storyteller appears blurry. And in a lot of cameras, you can just hold on the screen. You can hold on the screen over like the face of the person where they show up on the image on the screen, and it will focus the lighting and everything for that subject. But it's important that it's the subject that's in focus and that nothing else is the main focus. Lighting. Okay, so the most important thing about lighting is that it is in front of you and not behind you. Okay, so I have some lights around me, but I have no lights really coming in behind me. And you don't want a light coming from under you, because then you just look a little weird. Even if you're telling a scary story, this is a bit much to look at for the whole length of the video. If the light is coming from directly overhead, it's okay, but it's not great. The best thing is if you can have the light coming sort of at a good selfie angle from around you, but you want to have the light set up already. You don't want your hand holding it in the image, but you want to try to get the light above you and in front of you, and maybe at a little angle, but definitely in front of you and not below you. And for sure, it's really important that it's never behind you, because if there's more light behind you than there is in front of you, you disappear completely. We can't see your face, we can't see your expressions, we might not even be able to see your body movement. So it's critical when you do your lighting that you put your lighting in front of you, not behind you. Okay, so with the then with noise, you want to find an area of your home that's not as noisy as other areas. Like right at this very minute, everybody in my family is home and they are all in another room, and you still might hear their voices might come up high enough at some points to come in, but you want to try to find a place where you can hide yourself away. If you have pets, you want somebody to take care of them in another room so that they can't like bark or meow or chirp while you are performing. And like Katie said, that was a great suggestion, Katie. You can always do a sound check where you can just let the phone record on video for a minute or two. You don't even have to be in the frame if you don't want. And then you can play back the recording, because just like the human eye knows what to focus on and cameras don't, the human ear knows what to focus in on and what to screen out, but phones and audio devices and cameras do not. So if the so you might hear things on the recording that you didn't know you could hear. Like you might hear your air conditioner really loud, or you might hear your refrigerator motor turn on, or you might hear street noise or something. So it's really good to do that sound check. Next, we're going to set up. You want to make sure that you have the camera basically at eye level. So if the camera is, I can't do it because my knees don't bend well enough, and I don't want to make you dizzy by lifting my camera. But if the camera is above you, looking down, so if the person taking the person taking the video of you should be directly in front of you, and their camera, their phone or whatever you're using should be at eye level. And if it is, then we get to see the most natural and real version of you. If they are above you and they turn the camera down to take the picture of you, then you'll look teeny tiny and you'll be distorted, because the things that are closer to the camera will look unnaturally large. And then the things that are further away from the camera will look unnaturally small. So it just looks weird. So make sure that they're at eye level, so that the camera is level with your eyes. You don't want to turn the camera up or down to get it to focus on the subject. Recording landscape. This is not landscape. Have you ever seen videos like on the news or even on YouTube where there's a strip of video and then there's weird fuzzy stuff beside the video? Those are videos that were recorded like this. This is not the right proportions for a video, so it doesn't work when we try to play it it looks very funny and it doesn't work at all. So you want to have the camera turned this way in landscape. Hot dog, not hamburger, the long way, not the tall way, horizontal, not vertical. You want landscape, okay? And then again with the focus, you want, we can't say this enough times because like I said, cameras do not automatically know what to focus on. So make sure that the focus is on you. Next slide. Okay, so now it's time to talk about what to wear. Not a costume. You don't want to wear something that is going to take away from your face and your movements. You want to wear something fairly plain. So this would actually be better than this because this has a little bit of a pattern on it. But I didn't think that my whole body would be in the frame. I forgot I was doing this part. But so solid colors work better, and as you saw, both Katie and Matthew are wearing solid colors. None of us are wearing costumes. Matthew was, but we had to make him change for this one. But I'm just kidding. But with, so no costumes, you want to wear solid colors. Brighter colors tend to look a little bit better than duller colors or darker colors. But definitely not costumes. You don't want to have anything, there's two things you want to watch out for. You don't want to have anything that is so like fancy that we're looking at the costume instead of it, how awesome your storytelling is. And you don't want anything that's like really intricate and beaded or anything like that, so that we're hearing the stuff from your costume instead of hearing your amazing storytelling. Make sure that you look at the camera. I'll show you where's right there. You look at the camera, don't look at the screen, okay? So it's really tempting, I want to look at myself on the screen, but if you notice, when I look at myself on the screen, I'm not really making eye contact with you, the audience. But if I look at my camera, now I can't really see myself on the screen, but I'm probably looking right into your lovely, wonderful eyes. So it's really important that you know where your camera is, where the lens on your camera is. Now, if you're using like a legitimate dedicated camera, that's really obvious because it's just the round part in the middle. But if you're using a phone, we're always tempted to look at the screen and not really tempted to look right directly in the actual camera. And then lastly, because this is video, you have the absolute privilege of as many takes as you want. Now, whatever we evaluate, we have to see a single take. So you can't edit it. You can't take the best beginning from take number 3 and the best middle from take number 27 and the best ending from take number 18 and smush them all together in editing. We need a take where the camera started on you from when you started your story till when you finish your story, all in one take. But that might be take number 93 if you want. You don't have to do 93 takes, but you can do as many takes as you want until you're really happy with what you see and until you really feel like that is the best demonstration of your storytelling skills. And on that, let's go ahead and bring all of my friends back.
That was
All
awesome.
right.
Thank you, Lorian.
Thank you very much. We're winding down the session tonight. We've gotten some really great guidance from our pals in the storytelling festival committee. We're going to interrupt very briefly to do a continue the experience recommendation. And you see there's a couple here actually. One is one of our playaways that we have available to check out from the library called A Story to Tell, Storytelling and Reading Comprehension for ages 8 to 10. And also a book that's available through Hoopla. And if you're not familiar with Hoopla, it is one of our e-reading platforms that you can get as a mobile app and that you don't have to wait on. So you check out the book and you get it right away. No, you don't know waiting in line. And this one is called Curtains Up, Theater, Games, and Storytelling by Robert Rubinstein, and that's available through Hoopla, through the public library. To find out about those resources and more, go to hcplc.org/books. Now, as we're winding down here, we do have time for a few questions. So again, if you've not posted any questions yet and you'd like to, you can do so in the questions section. While you're getting those together, I'm going to go forward to our
Yes.
final slide, which is
And
the...
I wanted to say something that before we started the question and answer, and I'm so glad you put up that slide, because the deadline to get your story finished and your video made is coming right up. It's this month in April, and you see it right there in the star on that screen, that slide there, and the deadline is Friday, April 22nd. So you can get it to us sooner, but you need to get it to us by the end of Friday, April 22nd at the latest. Go ahead and send us your video, your fabulous video of your great storytelling. So don't forget that deadline. And then we will review these videos, and we select the festival quality ones, and then they're going to be put on the YouTube channel, and our final storytelling celebration, which is a live video event like this, excuse me, that will be May 13th. That's our final storytelling celebration on May 13th. So you want to maybe go to the website, to the landing page for storytelling, and register for that event. So you can listen in like you are today.
Absolutely. And that website is hcplc.org/storytelling festival, which is there at the bottom. And you can see we have the email address for the Storytelling Festival Committee there as well. But all of this information is on that website landing page. And so we've got it all grouped together in one place. And I have a question, actually. Katie, you were talking a little bit earlier about storytelling criteria. Sometimes the world of stories, even when people go through and check some of the carefully curated stories they see on our book list, can seem a little bit overwhelming, and maybe they want to communicate with the Storytelling Festival Committee. What would be a good way for them to do that? Can they reach out to you with questions about story selection? What would you advise?
Yes, that email that we have there, it says tampastoryfest@gmail.com. That is a great place to ask questions like that. So you can email us, and we can answer your questions. Or if you're listening in right now, quickly send in a question and we will answer it for you. But that's really one of the best ways to reach out if you have a question, is that Gmail.
Absolutely. And I think the other question I see coming in here, maybe for you, Lauren, just about the you had mentioned the number of taking, doing multiple takes, and the question here is about if they're practicing, should they put, every time they do a practice session, should they put it on video? Should they, in other words, should they record every single time they're practicing, or should they wait until, I guess the question is, should they wait until they've practiced a little bit to where they feel comfortable and that maybe they're ready to go ahead and put it on video for the first time?
Well, that's a great question. I'm glad for whoever asked that. Thank you. With the, so you don't have to, and it's not like a should or should not situation, because recording yourself can be a powerful practice tool. So you can, even when you're learning your story, you can look at video of yourself to see which parts maybe you look less comfortable in, or if you were pausing and you weren't realizing it. So it can be a very powerful tool to practice by videotaping. And that can also help you to practice for the video setup, so that you can see when you're watching those practice videos what kinds of things are working as far as lighting and location and sound, and what kinds of things are not working that you might want to take care of when you start working toward those final takes. And if we have like 30 more seconds, there was one part I forgot to address when I was talking about the videos. Is that okay?
Yes, well, I have just enough time to put back on my outlandish costume that you guys made me change out of. So 30 seconds. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
You can just spin your phone booth, right? And you'll be back in costume.
Right.
When you're recording the video, you want to make sure that you're getting, Katie is perfect for storytelling. Matthew is perfect for speaking on video. Katie is perfect for storytelling. You want to make sure that it's like you're on TV from about your hips up so that your whole head is showing. That way, with your movements, when you're doing stuff, we know what you're doing and we can see it, and you've got plenty of room. And then you just want to make sure that you stay in the screen the whole time. You don't want to like pass out on the floor as a part of your story, like Anansi and the moss-covered rock. Ka-boom! You want to make sure that you stay in frame while you're storytelling. Okay, thank you so much.
No, I think that's a great final tip that you guys have. You've been doing this for so long. You have such a fountain of information, and it's hard to compact it in these short sessions like this. But of course, you have the contact information that you need. Go to the library's website. You'll be able to see everything you need to access and reach out to whoever. You get a little bit of time. April 22nd is that deadline. So I know I'm very, very excited to see all the entries that are going to be coming in. And Lorian and Katie, you probably are getting really excited as well.
Yes. So
Absolutely.
So I think on that, we will say thank you very much for joining us tonight, and good night and happy storytelling.
yes, thank you, everybody. Good luck. Break a leg.